Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Quiz Analysis for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 29th March today, and in this video we are going to solve some important questions which could be very much relevant for your preparation if you are preparing for UPSC Prelims 2025 or 26 or any other civil service exams. Before we'll start our discussion, I would like to give the brief introduction about this initiative so that if you are new to our channel, you will get more connected with us. Basically in this video, we are going to discuss three types of questions, and these questions would be taken from three different sources. So it's depending on it, the first set of questions which we are going to discuss here would be taken from the current affairs. What we are going to do? We will take up the most important articles from the newspaper. We'll try to discuss that. We'll try to break that down into the simplest language possible, and we'll try to derive the possible prelims question from that particular article so that it will give the idea which part of the newspaper is important for you, what should be your approach when you are reading these news articles, and how can you expect a possible prelims question from those particular topics. This is what we are going to do in the first phase of our discussion. After solving question with respect to the current affairs, we will shift our approach to the another part. Here we will discuss questions with respect to this static portion. Currently we are discussing Indian polity, and in Indian polity we are discussing the office. We are discussing the Indian Parliament, and in Indian Parliament we are discussing the Raj Sabha. So today we are going to discuss few more concepts related to Raj Sabha, and we'll try to derive the possible prelims question related to those concepts so that it will give the exact idea how exactly a question can be asked in the exam. After solving questions from the static portion, we will shift our approach to the last part of our discussion, where we will solve a previous year question from the previous year question book. To me, this is the most important part because in here we'll learn what is the vocabulary used by UPSC over the years, what are the different trends they try to follow for framing your papers, and at the same time we'll try to learn what can be the different methods which we can implement in the exam if we don't have the proper knowledge of the question, and at the same time we'll try to understand how can we implement this information which we will get from this video in the upcoming exam. So this is in a nutshell what we are going to do in this video. So with this, I would like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel, please do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative, and please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys. Now without any delay, let's have a look at the question which we had brought here. As you can see here on the screen, the question is basically about the earthquakes. Why we had brought this, because we had seen how an earthquake hit in Myanmar and the nearby countries there, Myanmar and Thailand, and approximately it was estimated that more than 150 people died in this earthquake. So with respect to this, with respect to that earthquake, we need to understand the features of that earthquake. What kind of earthquake was it? Whether it was where was its focus, where was its epicenter, what was its damage. Even though the damage part is not important for us, but the nature of the earthquake is very much important for us. So with respect to this, let's first try to understand the nature of that earthquake which is in the news. But where was its epicenter? Its epicenter was at Mandalay. Epicenter was at Mandalay in Myanmar. So please do remember that the epicenter was in Mandalay, Myanmar. Second thing, what was the whether it is a deep focus or the shallow focus. So please remember that it was a shallow focus earthquake, and because of it being the shallow focus, it led to this much damage. The damage was very much visible with respect to this earthquake. And what were the plates involved with this earthquake? These were the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate. These were involved. There was a convergence between Indian plate and the Eurasian plate. Because of these, the energy was released and it led to this earthquake. And also, what is the name of the fault line where this submergence happened? What was the name of the fault line? It is the sagging fault line. SAGAING, sagging fault line. Please do remember the name of the fault line. It is sagging fault line. So these are the few important points which you need to know about this earthquake. A few facts about this earthquake which hit in the Myanmar region. So with respect to this, we understood the nature of this earthquake, the focus about the focus of the earthquake. We understood that it is the shallow focus earthquake. So with respect to this, let's understand what this shallow focus and deep focus is about. What is this shallow focus and deep focus? So I will try to make you understand this through this question, through this diagram. Let's suppose this is the feature of the earth. Let's suppose it is it would be crust, it would be mantle, and it would be mantle, and it would be core. About mantle, we know that it won't be fully solid, neither it would be fully liquid. Some part of it would be solid. So that part will, with rest with the, when it will be added with the crust, when crust plus the solid part of the mantle, it would become the lithosphere. So this will become the lithosphere, the molten part with some parts of the molten part of the mantle, and few, and and the molten part of the, we can say, of the core, it will become the asthenosphere. So this is how it works, about it. So here what happens, the lithosphere part, it is, when it is floating on the asthenosphere, which is the semi-solid, or we can say which is liquid in nature. So when anything floats on the liquid, it will definitely crack, and because of these cracks on the, you know on the lithosphere, these divisions form. So definitely, there would be, with respect to these divisions, they would either converge or diverge from each other, one another. They would either converge or diverge from one another. So with respect to this, when in the lithosphere, when the plates, which are, for example, there are continental plates, for example, the continental plate and the another plate which is converging, it is continental. If two continental plates will converge, then most of the times, what will happen, that the the earthquake, which would be formed, the focus of the earthquake would be shallow focus, because in this, there would be least subduction. The subduction in this type of convergence would be least there, as was seen in the in this earthquake which hit the Myanmar region, which hit yesterday Myanmar region. There is least subduction. And what if there is one plate is continental plate and another is oceanic plate? Then the subduction would be deep, and the earthquake which would be formed would be deep focal earthquake. So the one more difference about the shallow focus earthquake and the deep focus earthquake is the waves which are formed with respect to shallow focus earthquake. The surface waves, they are much nearer, they are much closer to the crust, and in the deep focus earthquake, they are way away from the crust. So the energy release, energy lost in the shallow focus is least, energy lost in the deep focus is more, and also the damage caused by the shallow focus is more, the damage caused by the deep focus is less. The area covered under the shallow focus is less, the area covered under the deep focus is more. So these are few important points related to shallow focus and deep focus. So with this, I hope you can now easily solve the question which we had brought here. Let's solve the question. Here the question says, with reference to the earthquakes, consider the following statements. First statement, shallow focus earthquakes typically cause a greater surface damage compared to the deep focus earthquakes of similar magnitude. 100% correct, as we had seen, because the loss of energy is very less in the shallow focus earthquakes as compared to the deep focus earthquakes. Second statement, deep focus earthquakes are primarily associated with the tectonic activity within the Earth's crust. No, it is much deeper. So it is not all about Earth's crust, it is about the lithosphere. So second statement is incorrect. Third statement, the frequency of shallow focus earthquake is generally higher than that of the deep focus earthquakes. That is true. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 3 only. And from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. With this, I hope you had understood the question as well as the context of the question why we had discussed this today. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Well, here we had again brought the question with respect to the Public Accounts Committee, as it is, in a way, it is recommending few GST reforms. So with respect to this, we need to have much more proper understanding of the Public Accounts Committee. So please do remember that it contains 22 members, of which 15 are from the Lok Sabha and 7 are from the Rajya Sabha. So this thing you should know that. And who would be the chairperson of this? Usually it is from the opposition party. The chairperson would be from the opposition party. So let's solve the question here. Let's get more information about the Public Accounts Committee through this question. The question says, regarding the Public Accounts Committee of the Indian Parliament, consider the following statement. First statement: the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee is traditionally appointed from the ruling party to ensure government cooperation. Totally incorrect. Traditionally, or we can say conventionally, he is appointed from the opposition party. So first statement is incorrect. Second statement: the Public Accounts Committee examines the audit reports of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India related to the appropriation accounts and finance accounts of the Government of India. 100% correct. Third statement: the ministers are eligible to be members of the PAC. No, they are excluded to be the members of the PAC. So third statement is also incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statement would be option B only. With this, the correct answer would be the correct option would be option B. With this, I hope you had understood the Public Accounts Committee. We had discussed it in our last class also. We discussed a few features of this, and today we discussed a few more features of the committee. Why it is in news? Because it is recommending few GST reforms. So that is why it is in news, because the fiscal federalism and the taxes related issues are to be discussed. There are few reforms needed. That's what had it recommended with respect to those. That is why it is in news. So with this, I hope you had understood the topic as well as the context of the question. Now let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Well, here the question is with respect to the India's current geopolitical policy. Actually here in the news article, the author had criticized the geopolitics, geopolitical policy. How the geopolitical vision of India, how India is visualizing, how India is representing itself in the geopolitics. The author has criticized it. Earlier, usually from the history itself, even though we had been towards the non-alignment, we had always been non-aligned, but still we were very much proactive in the world issues. We were very much proactive in the world issues. For example, whether it would be the cases of the colonialism, anti-colonial approach. We always had this anti-colonial approach. We helped Bangladesh to liberate from Pakistan. We helped Indonesia also, when we discussed on the republic, on the uh, Republic Day. We discussed about the impact of the Indonesia, how their PM, how their president was the chief guest of India, was the chief guest of ours on our Republic Day, and we discussed how India helped them to come out of the colonialism, how India in a way supported them. And also we had discussed, we had seen how India had participated in the Maldives issue, and also when it was the first phase of the Israel-Palestine war in the Middle East, how India cited towards the Palestine during that time, how India refused to recognize Israel for the much longer time. So there were definitely, India had always been the proactive, and India's approach was to be represented as, to be seen as the global South leader, to be seen as the global South leader. But here currently the author is highlighting that the India's approach has little bit changed. Even though India is much dependent now, India is much focused on its bilateral agreements, its self-interests, but at the same time, to be the global South leader, to be the world leader, it has to take part in the geopolitical situations happening in the world. For example, the Gaza war, it has to take part of the one country at least. With respect to Ukraine war, it has to criticize the Russia, but India is not doing so. India is trying to protect its self-interests. India does not want to harm their relation with another country. So India is very much quiet with respect to that. India is just a mute spectator in these issues. So that's what the people want. That's what the government is not. That's what the author is not liking. That how India wants to be represented, to be seen as the global South leader, but at the same time it is being a mute spectator in such issues. So that is how the author is criticizing India's approach right now. So with this, let's try to understand much more about the India's current geopolitical policy through this question. First statement, let's see what does the question say. Question says, in the context of the India's current geopolitical policy, consider the following statement. First statement, India's neighborhood first policy, you know, prioritizes exclusively bilateral agreements with its immediate neighbors, minimizing multilateral engagement. This is totally incorrect. It is not so. So first statement is incorrect, and option 1A and D are incorrect. Second statement, it says India's strategic autonomy is reflected in its approach to balancing relationship with major powers, including the US, Russia, and China without formal alliance. 100% correct. This is how India is looking at such issues. So third statement, India's engagement in multilateral forums like Quad and BRICS indicates a shift towards a purely alignment-based foreign policy. No, it is not purely alignment-based foreign policy, but you know, it is it is a multilateral approach. So third statement is also incorrect. Fourth statement is cooperating at the multilateral level with other countries. Fourth statement, India has recently increased its dependence on one major power for its energy and military needs. India has increased its dependency on one major power for its energy and military needs. Now, India has diversified it. So, this fourth statement is also incorrect. India has diversified its energy needs from different countries. So, the fourth statement is also incorrect. So, with respect to this question, the correct answer would be option 2 only, that is statement 2 only, that is option B only. With this, I hope you had got the basic understanding about the India's approach, how India's engagement in multilateral forums like Quad and BRICS indicates a shift towards a purely, how India is participating in such, but India shift towards purely alignment based foreign policy. India is not purely aligned towards God countries, but at the same time it is balancing the China, it is balancing the Russia when it is having this relationship with the allies of the US as in the Quad. So similarly as in the BRICS, it is cooperating with the Russia and China, but at the same time it is protecting its rights, its relationship with the US and its allies. So it is third statement is incorrect, and it shows how India's approach has been from the how India is always trying to protect its interests. So that's what is needed for India. That is what every country desires, that their interests should be protected. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Well, here the question is basically about the Teesta River. So let's see what does the question say regarding Teesta River. Consider the following statements. So why it is in news? Because Bangladesh welcomes China to participate in the Teesta project. That's why it is in news. So Teesta River becomes important for us. So through this question, we'll understand few facts about Teesta River. Let's see what does the question say. Question say regarding Teesta River, consider the following statements. First statement, the Teesta River originates in the eastern Himalayas, Sikkim, in India, and flows into the Brahmaputra River in Bangladesh. 100% correct. It does not directly flow in the Bangladesh into Brahmaputra River. It does not directly flow into the Bay of Bengal, but it flows first. It goes to the Bangladesh, then joins there with Brahmaputra or Jamuna, then flows into the Bay of Bengal. So first statement is correct. Second statement, the Teesta River basin is entirely located within the Indian states of Sikkim and West Bengal. No, totally incorrect. Because here in the first statement we saw how it gets into the Bangladesh too. So second statement is incorrect. Even though the Teesta River, it flows in India in these two states only. Third statement, the Teesta River water sharing dispute is primarily between India and Bhutan. Totally incorrect. When it is Bangladesh, why to add Bhutan? So third statement is incorrect. Second statement is also incorrect. Second statement incorrect. Third statement incorrect. So we are left with option A only. That's 1 and 4 only. That would be the correct answer. Now let's have a look at the fourth statement. It says the Teesta River's flow is crucial for the agricultural economy of the region, particularly in the northern districts of West Bengal and Bangladesh. Correct. So with respect to this question, the correct answer is statement 1 and statement 4 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option A. With this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought. Well, here the question is with respect to the National Human Rights Commission. Why it is in news? Because it has, the National Human Rights Commission has highlighted the case which with respect to the Nepali student in Odisha, that there was definitely negligence from the KIT University. So with respect to this, the National Human Rights Commission is in news. So let's have some basic information about the National Human Rights Commission through this question. The question says, regarding the National Human Rights Commission of India, consider the following statements. First statement, National Human Rights Commission can directly prosecute individuals accused of human rights violation. Totally incorrect. First statement is incorrect, so we are left with option A and option C only. So let's have a look at the second option. The chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission must be a retired Chief Justice of India. So it is correct. Nothing wrong with the statement. Third statement, the National Human Rights Commission's recommendations are binding on the government. Totally incorrect. When third is also incorrect, so we are left with still 2 and C only. Now, fourth statement, the National Human Rights Commission can incur into violations of human rights only in cases where the violations has occurred within 1 year of the complaint. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct answer is option 2 and 4 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option C. With this, I hope you had got the basic understanding about the National Human Rights Commission. So with this, let's move to the another part of our discussion and see what question we had brought there. Well, here we had directly taken a question from the previous year question book, and as we know, as you know, the question we are discussing questions from the world geography, and this question was asked in the year 2008. So let's see what does the question say. Question says, which two countries follow India and China in the decreasing order of their population? What are the countries which follow India and China? Definitely USA and Indonesia. So here I would like to add one thing. You had seen from the day we had started doing questions with respect to world geography, we would have noticed one thing, that we had discussed questions related to population of countries many times now. So what does it show? It shows that it is very much important for you guys to know at least what are the first top 10 countries which have the highest population in the decreasing order. We should know those countries. It is in a way mandatory for a UPSC aspirant to know that. So with this, I will conclude my discussion, today's discussion. I hope you would have liked the video. I hope you would share it with your friends, and I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.